it is peak rattlesnake season right now, with baby rattlers hatching and adult snakes slithering across trails and yards. One Valley woman just went through a harrowing ordeal after her dog was bit by a rattlesnake, and it was all caught on camera. 12 News journalist Ginger Jeffries shows us what happened in this exclusive report.
Just before 8 o'clock in the morning, Kimberly Seward heard her dogs barking. She looked out into the yard and saw a terrifying scene. After seeing the snake strike twice, Kimberly rushed her 6-year-old dog named Romeo to the vet.
Romeo got bit twice in rapid succession, probably got a lot more venom than if he just got struck once. But luckily she saw it on the video and everything and was able to get him in right away.
Rattlesnake venom causes changes in the blood cells, which prevents the blood from clotting. This can lead to internal bleeding in addition to heart, respiratory, and kidney failure. During the first 36 hours after Romeo was bit, the swelling from tissue damage compromised his breathing.
He actually, around midnight, started having a hard time breathing, so I had to take him to the ER. He stayed at the ER until 6:30 in the morning, and then I picked him up, brought him back here. He stayed here a whole nother day, and then I got like 1 hour of sleep that night, and then I brought him back here for more fluids. So it was like 3 full days of going back and forth to here and the emergency hospital.
A few days later, Romeo was finally showing some signs of making a full recovery.
We're eating.
According to the Arizona Poison Center, more than 200 rattlesnake bites are reported annually. However, not all of those animals bitten will be treated. As a result, experts believe the actual number of bites is closer to 350 every year, which means pet parents need to stay vigilant, especially when the weather turns warmer.
This time of year, I go into kind of SWAT team mode where I'm looking at the entrance to the door. I'm looking at the perimeter of the room in the garage or my backyard, and then I'm looking across the premise and making sure I don't see anything unusual that looks like a snake.
Every time before I let them out on the property, I go around and check now. So be aware, they're out here.
Well, Ginger is now here with the backstory. Ginger, that just is chilling. I mean, you can still see, even though that was 10 days ago, still the remnants of, what's left of Romeo's bite.
Yeah, it was a giant scab, and it was actually that morning. And it was so sad talking with both Kimberly and Romeo. When he came in, he was shaking because, obviously he is familiar with being there and having to have treatment. Yeah. So he was shaking at that time, but they took such great care of him.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so that reaction, is that normal?
It really depends on where the bite happens. Dr. Deborah said because Romeo took those hits right to his head, all of the swelling that was right around the neck, that's what's impeding the breathing. Now, let's say an animal that gets bit on the leg. Well, obviously, it's going to be very painful. These are extremely painful bites, but it's not going to cause any impact as far as the breathing, so they'll be uncomfortable. And the other thing is juvenile snakes versus adult snakes. Juvenile snakes can't regulate how much venom they release, so they could be giving a double dose. Remember, though, Romeo did take a double dose.
Ow. Okay, so talk about the vaccine, the rattlesnake vaccine. Is that a good option?
It is an option. There's been a lot of new research in the last 10 to 15 years that shows that it's a better positive. The way Dr. Deborah put it to me is it's going to buy you some time. You still need to get your dog treated, but it's going to give you a little buffer to get into the vet.
Okay, so you mentioned Dr. Deborah. She also has recommendations that we can safeguard our pets?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the vaccine's a great idea, especially for at-risk dogs, older dogs, dogs that just have that instinct to constantly go out into the bushes, right, if they're on the trails. But then both Dr. Deborah and Brett the vet, our one and only, said what is crucial is rattlesnake training. And think about it, the thousands of dollars you're going to spend at the vet versus a training course to really show that dog ways to behave, because Romeo didn't want to go eat the snake. According to what Kimberly said, Romeo's just a big love and wanted to play with the snake.
They're curious. Yeah, exactly.
They're very curious. So to train them and then potentially avoid that trip to the vet.
Well, we are so glad Romeo's okay.
Yes, he's doing great, and he's such a love bug.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah.
All right, Ginger, a great story. Thank you.